Hi and welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. It's so great to be here. Hello, Wayne. Welcome. Welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. I'm just feeling really grateful and excited this week to be welcoming on two of my favorite people. They're amazing, both individually and together. They serve in the New Thought community with their love, their wisdom, their knowledge as profound teachers. And for them to be here right now, yes, you're on here right now, Robin and Rev Gil Olmsted, to be here right now is just such a treasure and such a pleasure for me to be introducing them. Robin and Gil have played in the spiritual arena for a long time. They've together led workshops on spiritual growth, counseled so many individuals. Robin is a practitioner, licensed practitioner and spiritual counselor, and has dedicated over 20 years to opening up clients' hearts to knowing their infinite potential. And Reverend Gil is a licensed New Thought minister who loves to create community, oh yes, and connection. And together, Robin and Gil have been rocking the love since 2000. And in their 20 years of marriage, they've discovered that no matter what situation occurs, the answer is always love. Isn't this amazing? Welcome here to the Cosmic Prayer.
Thanks.
It's so great to be here with both of you across continents.
Yes.
Like this. Yeah.
I always feel like I should be able to just drop by your house.
I know. Well, you know, the power of your word. So welcome both of you to the Cosmic Prayer. I know this is a really special time for you because you are also creating a new broadcast that's coming on to the New Thought Media Network, which we're going to talk about. And I'm really interested in both of, you know, your individual and unified understanding of prayer and how prayer has really inspired you in your relationship together as this amazing couple, power couple. You're the power couple.
The power couple of the hour.
You are. And the work that you do and the knowledge and the wisdom that you share is just so incredible. So I'm really interested in how prayer inspires you, if it does at all. I'm opening that up there because, you know, this is the Cosmic Prayer and we want to hear what, you know, what it is for you, what prayer really means for you, yes, individually and together. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking about that earlier this morning about prayer being so much like being in a relationship with a person or whatever, because it's just a relationship with spirit and myself, really. And you know, I can enter into it full, and I can show up, and I can communicate what's going on for me, and I can listen to what's coming back from the universe, and I can work with all of that and have prayer really be transformational. Or I can kind of show up and half communicate and half listen. and you know, it's not as helpful. And then there's a time, and these all happened at different times, but then there's the times when, you know, it sort of goes silent and we just cut off. I just cut off from communicating at all. And I think those are the times when the illusion is I'm turning inward, but really I'm just hiding, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. Because if I was really turning inward, I could open up to that, but it's too scary in certain times. So anyway, so prayer is, you know, broad.
Prayer is broad, and I think we hear a lot in the New Thought communities that, you know, everything we say is a prayer, everything we think is a prayer. And over the years, I've really, you know, tried to adopt that and be with that and recognize when my thoughts are not what I would request as a prayer. And I think that Wayne out there said it best. He said, heartfelt prayers make a difference. Mm-hmm. And I I like to try to come from the heart all the time. And so when I do that, then I really can focus more on my thoughts being my prayers. So even if we're talking about creating a show or the dinner for what we're making for dinner, I mean, I really try to do it from that place of mindfulness and live into that, knowing that what I think usually happens. And it's not always good. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I really agree with you on with both of you and what you're saying. And I love that piece that you're saying, Rev Gill, about the authenticity of knowing when when you really are opening up as that channel, that communicative kind of channel, or when it's simply hiding.
Yeah.
and having that being able to distinguish from the two. That takes certain awareness, I would imagine. But then we can see that from the demonstration of our, in our lives, if it really is demonstrating the way that we think it should be.
Yeah, and I think Robin hit it. I mean, when I describe those things, it sort of sounds like it's very, very intentional, and at the same time, it's a lot. It's what Robin said, is that prayer is constant, and so what we sometimes don't realize is what we're communicating when we don't think we are.
Yes.
And I just want to say too that a lot of times, like when I do a prayer, I start with gratitude, and usually I'm just grateful for the very breath that's breathing me. And when I think about prayer like that, it's like I remember that in each and every moment, my breath is a gift. I am being gifted in that moment, and that it is part of a prayer to move forward. That the mandate from on high is that I get to move forward.
Yes. And that's really powerful, isn't it? When prayer becomes gratitude and gratitude becomes prayer, and the intermingling, the blending of that I can't distinguish between the two, because I have to be, for my own knowing, I have to be in that place of gratitude to be enabled to actually be in prayer. Kind of can't separate the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of that cut off place when I can't go to gratitude, because I can't really see what's going on. I'm only seeing what my mind or whatever has made up is, it is not good for me or whatever, But
Yeah.
if I'm really seeing from a place of openness, then I'm seeing things to be grateful for. And I'm seeing the gratitude. I'm seeing the beauty. I'm seeing whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so what's milling around in my mind right now? It's like the burning question for me.
Here it goes. Here it goes.
Here it comes. So for anybody that's watching, I know you're here on watching us on New Thought Media Network. Welcome into this conversation on the Cosmic Prayer with Rev Gill Olmsted and Robin Rice Olmsted. Together, they are bringing this incredible new show with a fresh outlook to relationships onto New Thought Media Network on the 5th of, there we go. Thank you, Diego. Diego's here, our wonderful producer, shining the light behind the scenes. And thank you for creating this show and bringing it to the network and inspiring all of us to really look more deeply at our relationships, with ourselves, and a relationship to all of life. And that's not only the people that are around us, but how we have our relationship with the planet and with money and with the washing up and with all of it. So my question is, because you're working on this together, you're doing this as a joint venture, and I love this. And in kind of behind, not behind the scenes, but away from the camera, away from being Rev Gill and away from being Robin and these inspirational people that you are with the work that you're doing, when it comes to it with relationship, though being, living with our partners or being very close with the people that we have chosen to be close to, how do we bring prayer into this when during those times where we just want to run and scream away, or run away from a situation, or not feel that things aren't going the way we think they should be going, and that person should be seeing it how I want them to see it, and all of that. How do we do that? Because that's everyday living, isn't it, when we're living with somebody?
Yeah, and I'd like to tell you there's an easy answer.
Yeah.
Not sure there is. Is there? Do you have one?
Well, I don't know. I don't want this to sound formulaic, because it I don't know. It seems like this is what we hear, but I really feel like for me, part of it is, really recognizing. I mean, and I know there's a realness to it, and yet for me, it's really recognizing that it's not about anybody. It's not about anyone out there, that there's only one of us here. And how, so when I'm mad at him, like what's happening in me and what's being called forth, and really having the wherewithal to be able to go to that place. I'm not saying I start at that place, but after I take a few breaths and come back to myself, I am really able to go to the love in the situation, and know that something is going on out there for him, and so something's going on for me, and that it's like an excursion. It's like being an explorer, and really being patient, and willing to surrender to the love. It's like I tell him all the time, because he'll get upset about something, or he'll blow up, and he'll be like, you, and I'm like, whoa. I'm on your team. Like, I would never do something intentionally to hurt him or to not support him. And it's like, and I know we all have felt like this, and it's like really being able to set her back in and go, okay, this is the person that I loved and that loves me. And somehow right now we need to get to a deeper place. We need to find out the real of what's going on. And you know what they say, that you teach what you need to learn. So we're not saying that we know it all. We're constantly learning and constantly remembering and constantly fine tuning and changing things. But I think that, that's kind of where the show came from, is that the bottom line is you've got to go to the love. You've got to know that it's more than that. That's my short answer.
So something we've used in our workshops a lot, and with working with people, is something an acronym of CALM. And that's where you take the breath, and you commit and love more.
So the letters: commit and love more.
Commit and love more. That is so beautiful. I just want to recognize Christine here in Kenya, who's watching. Sister Christine, beautiful practitioner in Kenya. Welcome here. Yes. Commit and love more. And that is, and even for those of us who are practiced in the practice of prayer and meditation and mindfulness and awareness, and whether God is coming into this or not, just, knowing that place of coming from non-judgment, even then it can still be difficult. I think, for me, I'm talking for myself here, at times when somebody is pushing my button, or I'm pushing my own buttons, let's say, because yes, thank you, Robin, I'm the only one in the room. It takes a humility, a humility to step back and recognize that person is actually a gift right now, allowing me to see myself in the way so that I can do that piece of healing for myself, rather than just go to blame?
I think if we hold all relationship as a gift, then we can really see that every day, every moment, there's the opportunity to restart that, to refresh it, to renew it. It's a new thing. In every moment, it's a new thing, because whatever was isn't any longer. And so I think that's where the opportunity for prayer comes in, is that we can stop and just go within and allow ourselves to hear the truth of what's happening in the universe, in ourselves, and then step into the places where we take responsibility and where we honor the other people or other things that are involved in the relationship.
And do you think, Robin, that or whoever you feel, to answer this, but I'm just going to ask this, do you think that all too often it can seem easier to run away? It can seem easier to run away from a relationship or a situation rather than take that approach of, well, I'm here for the learning, for myself. I know I've done that in the past. It's like, okay, I'm out of here. I've not used the technique of prayer at all. It's been, okay, there has to come a time where there's that crossroads. And how do you find balance that in a relationship?
No, you go ahead. I have something to say, but you go ahead first.
So, yes, I think that's true, and I have to say, it's funny getting older. Not that I'm old, but just as you grow older, you have more experience, more things, and you hear people talk about relationships, particularly when they're exploring relationships, and it really sounds like high school still a lot. And what I mean by that is, until we can come to a place where we realize that the one person that's always in these relationships is me, until we can get there, they don't change, which is why I've been with Robin for over 20 years, but I've been married 3 times in my life. So, this is not, it took a while, and it took a very special person to be able to hang in with that as well, and to continue to let me keep looking at me. But the common denominator is ourselves. And so we run, and where do we end up? We end up with us.
Yeah.
We just don't have another person to blame for it.
Yeah.
It takes us a while to figure that out. So when you're in your 20s, it's a lot easier to run, or 30s, and then as you get older, you realize that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of what I was going to say, basically. It is. I think there's a quote by Ruth Bell Graham that says, "A good marriage is the union of 2 forgivers."
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That is powerful.
Yeah. And I think, there's this illusion that when we get married, we're marrying our one true love. And that may happen sometimes, but normally, well, in the example of Gil, I was not marrying only my one true love, but I was marrying his ex-wife and his wife before that, and his kids and his parents. And, we're marrying the package. Mm-hmm. And there's so, as individuals, there's so much we're trying to unravel, and we bring it into the relationship. Yeah. So it's really, it's a journey of patience and knowing ourselves, and it's a lot of work. This is not for sissies, this work.
Yeah. And then in amongst that, there comes this amazing opportunity to know ourselves, as you're just talking on so beautifully. And then to say, well, am I going to be more used to myself without this person, or more used to this person without being with this person? That there's always that opportunity to grow even beyond the relationship. But it's a mindful thing, isn't it?
Right.
Rather than just a reactionary.
And we do that with all the relationships, whether it's to our work, or some kind of study that we're doing, or some kind of group that we participate in, or whatever it is. You know, we can come to that point where we decide, nope, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm gone. Or we can look at what's going on in that and determine, this isn't serving me, or I need to work through this, because this is more about me than about something else. This is bringing this up in me as an opportunity to shift, as an opportunity to really look at it.
Yeah. And I love that. I love what you're both saying, because it's what we know. And yet it's for you to be able to teach this together as a couple, especially on your new show, and seeing couples in counseling as well. It's so authentic, because you're both showing up so authentically and so in such a real way as a couple, knowing this and saying, this is how we can serve you. We can serve you in this way. So can people counsel with you? Are you offering this together or individually even?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah, we'll do both, and we'll offer other workshops and things like that people can, come and do some work with us and play. And because it's really, it's such a journey that it doesn't have to be serious. It's really about playing and uncovering what makes you happy, and falling in love again over and over and over, with yourself, with your family, with your life, with your passions. It's not just a one-time thing.
Which takes us back to gratitude.
Yeah.
Because that's that expressing love for what is.
And we hear so much, don't we, of self-love, about self-love. We hear so much being taught, and, kind of people and teachers and wisdom teachers and thought leaders and coaches. Self-love is like a whole journey in itself, and that relationship that we have with the self. And I'm really interested to know what your take on self-love, and how that inspires to have this level of relationship with life, not just with our partners, but with the earth, with our work, with our children, with would you say that self-love is like the fulcrum of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the answer. Yep. It is. Absolutely. The place that I know I struggle is with that. That's the piece. Is when I am alone with whatever it is, alone with myself, then I have to work through the feelings of not feeling loved or lovable or valuable or any of those things. And what's kind of interesting about that is being in a relationship like Robin and I are in. I'm with someone that I observe that doesn't go through that in the same way, and is very different. So we all go through this in different ways, but some of us very much struggle with that, and some of us are much more enlightened to the truth of who we are. But it is the bottom line, because the rest of it flows from that. If I get lost in the how I'm feeling about me and myself and my life, and I don't step out and do, contact my kids or do these things that to reach out, then I'm just putting responsibility out somewhere else you know, and I'm giving away my power in my life. I'm giving away, you know, suddenly I don't have any control because, well, you know, they didn't get back to me. They don't like me. They, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I
and
know. I hear you.
I'm pretty much the opposite.
Pretty much.
I'm pretty much exactly the opposite. And I mean, not for any reason other than just always growing up, I was like, I, I can't bother with that. There's no time for that because I don't get it. You always have to come back to the truth. That's not the truth. So why linger in what's not the truth? You know, so that's just the way I've always been. So I don't know. And when I went through, you know, classes and training and all those things, I thought I had to do a deep dive and go, am I spiritually bypassing my emotions? Is this not the truth? And blah, blah, blah. But for me, it's just not the truth, you know? And so, not that I don't ever feel like, you know, uh, like down or whatever, but it's just, I mean, for me, I just know it's not the truth. I don't even know how to explain it. I just go, you know, I take my moments and then I go, not the truth. Gotta move on. So it is an interesting component for a marriage to someone who doesn't do it that way.
And yet it's also really amazing that, you know, we unite with our partners for those places that we need, because that person will offer it to us so that we can see the mirror of where we can do that work for ourselves, because we want to be with that person that's offering the opportunity for our own growth. So, and that's where the rubber meets the road, really, because it's like, I don't want to see that. Go away.
It's, you know, that we talk about the mirror, you know, and when I think of the mirror, I think of literal, we see ourselves, right? We see ourselves there, and sometimes they're reflecting back to us a whole different way of being.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not seeing myself and I'm confused by it, you know.
That's because we think we don't want to own it.
Like, what is that?
Well, right. And that's the same, but that's the same on my side, because I look and I go, okay, where is that in me? Where is that in me?
Yeah,
you know, where is that when he's depressed, or that, you know, negative thinking, or that I'm like, okay, where is that? And there's a balance in finding that and finding what may be the truth of, it is that is not really mine. That's just a reflection of either where I've been or where I've come through, or what's happening in the world. You know what I mean? Not, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
So absolutely. So and for me, I can get to that place of, where is that in me? Because that I'm not owning that, and yet I will own the feeling that I'm feeling because of it. And that
Right.
for me is the piece where I can, it's like, okay, it's bringing up frustration. Here now I can take part in spiritual mind treatment to look at that frustration, to release, or to know the truth other than frustration in myself, because I'm being mirrored this feeling here that I don't feel good with. Yeah.
And I have to say, and a lot of that for me too is a lot of the journey with him, I think, is about when I do see that, is me learning how to know that it's not my job to fix it.
Right.
And that's a big one, because I'm a caretaker, you know, and I always think, oh, I can make a difference. I can just make him smile, and then I can move on. I can check that off my list and move on, and or something, and really realizing it's not, I can't, it's not mine to do.
Right.
It's his to do. So yeah, that's where that comes in for me.
And I love that, because then we get to really own the masculine and the feminine in ourselves, and to see what's our part, and where we can go forwards and where we can pull back, and where we can just be in a neutral space, not always trying to fix everything for another person.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
And I think stepping into that place where prayer becomes, as you said a moment ago, knowing the truth and speaking the truth in prayer, in the sense of spiritual mind treatment, is given as an opportunity through that process. Because, Robin will look at me and go, why are you trying to explain it? It doesn't, it doesn't matter. You're that, yes, that's where you are or felt. Now we move on, and that's what we talk about in spiritual mind treatment all the time. Is, okay, we're gonna look at what really is, and that's what we're going to talk about. That's where we're going to focus. That's where we're going to be. Is, we know that spirit is everywhere, that it's all spirit, that all of it is conspiring for our good. And so gives me the opportunity to go back to that place and remind myself of that. And of course, that's what we're doing in prayer, for me anyway, is reminding myself what the truth is, whether I'm praying, quote, for me or someone else.
Yeah.
Right.
It's beautiful. I love this discussion, and I love how we can really look at prayer in a practical way for our lives, to inspire our relationships, not only with people, also our relationships, say, with money, with finances, with our work, with the earth, our relationship with Mother Earth, and what we're doing, as humanity, what is occurring on this planet right now, how we're treating each other, and how we're treating this planet. Do you believe that prayer could actually, on its own, could be the shift? I mean, of course, there's action, but I mean, prayer, do you think it could be the shift, that if we all used affirmative prayer, that we could have a much deeper relationship with this earth that could demonstrate in a really powerful way?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think we're doing it on some level. I mean, I think that the collective consciousness has shifted. And I think that between the shift in the collective consciousness and Mother Nature giving us a kick in the behinds, people have awakened and do their best to do the right thing. Yeah, and I was thinking about all that we've been saying, and I was thinking about, there's this saying that for a successful marriage or relationship, you need to constantly fall in love over and over again with the same person. And I was thinking, as I was thinking about that quote, and I was thinking, when we were just talking about the oneness factor, that really that same person is me. And then I was thinking, when we were talking about the earth and prayer, that really that person is God or spirit or the universe. Excuse me. And that it really is a continual journey back to the love. Whether it's the earth, I mean, like the times when, I don't know, that some trash has gotten thrown out the window, and the times when I chose to say something to somebody or to go pick it up, or the times when I chose not to. Like, what makes the difference, And it's like, if I continually move back into the love of the planet, I'm going to take action in some way.
Right. That's beautiful. I love what you've just said, because it's like we're responsible, and coming away from that ideology that something out there is responsible, that we can just wait for something to happen. This is the time, isn't it? There's only now. And when we each wake up to take that responsibility for our lives, for me, I live a more fulfilled experience of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that watching the news can be really horrific, and seeing how people treat each other, and yet I choose to read the headlines and read the papers, because I want to see, because I want to share my knowing of love onto that situation, rather than put a blinker on it, which for me I did for many years, and I think I was just spiritual bypassing. I want to pray on it.
I think there's there's multiple sides to that. But, there certainly is the opportunity to spiritual bypass on a lot of things. And I've been rereading or reading The Power of Attraction, The Law of Attraction, with Esther and Jerry Hicks, and just reading about the idea that we call it, what we're focusing on is what we're calling in. And so, when we see whatever it is going on in our world or in our planet, are we focusing on the for instance, with the earth, as you were talking about, are we focusing on the pollution and the et cetera, or are we focusing on what the beauty of the earth is that we want to participate in? What type of earth do we want to live on? What type of earth do we want to leave? And it's a subtle difference, but I think we do that, and we have that opportunity to make that choice. And in addition to that, you have, I think we see all this stuff in the news, right? Well, is it really? Is it really? Is it real? First of all, is it real? Is it new? Is it different? Am I more aware? And are we as a culture more aware? Are we seeing this? I truly believe a lot of what we've seen in the past couple of years has been somewhat of an awakening, even though it looks very painful. People have woken up to things that they didn't see before or think before. And now it's about, again, honing it in. Is it about defunding the police, or is it about increasing equity in our communities and making communities truly equitable and equal, and have all that they need? Are those two things opposed? No, but they're a different way of looking at it. And I think sometimes, just as an example, that one is about what we lack, and one is about what we can be about, right?
And I think that's what you're saying throughout this whole conversation. But what you're both saying here is that how we view anything that we think is outside of ourselves is how we're treating ourselves and how we're loving ourselves. So whether it's the earth or our partner or our pet or our child or our work or our relationship with what we're eating and what we're drinking, it's all about ourselves, isn't it? All of it. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm just going to remind people where we are right now. We're on New Thought Media Network, and we're with Robin Rice Olmsted and Reverend Gil Olmsted, and these two beautiful individuals who collectively join together to inspire people to live their best lives through the knowing of how to really be inspired in relationship. And I'm learning so much, and I just feel so grateful to be here with you both right now, because I know that this work that you're doing is so important, so powerful. And it's a kind of like, you're like a landing. I feel like you're like a landing pad for where we are right now, because we're all on some level trying to get our hearts and our heads around what's happening in our global experience of life and in our own individual, how we wake up more fully to this. So I'm just really so appreciative of you being here, and that you're beginning your own show here on New Thought Media Network called Rockin the Love. Let's see, Diego's backstage, our beautiful Diego, who's producing the show today. We have this amazing, I just love all of your promotion and the way that you're creating your promotional presentations. This is so beautiful. Rockin the Love since 2000. Robin and Gil will be here on New Thought Media Network on the 5th. Yes, the 5th.
The 5th.
The 5th. That's the first day.
The first Wednesday of the new year.
There we go.
And hopefully every Wednesday thereafter.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely every Wednesday thereafter. And you have a beautiful website that's being created right now, so people can come and see your offerings. And you're on Instagram and a brand new YouTube channel. It's like you're set up and ready to kind of skyrocket.
Ready to fly.
It's brilliant.
So
I love it.
Speaking of that, we've been playing around with, how do we describe this thing? What do we say? What's our elevator speech, right? And so I'm going to share at least a version of it with you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because it pertains a lot to what we're talking about. So Rockin the Love is a show about you and your friends, you and your money, you and the one, you and your food, you and your family. You get the idea. Each week we are going to explore relationship, drawing not only from our individual lives, but also from our 20 years of marriage. So together, let's embrace the joy of relationship. Join us on Rockin the Love.
Oh wow, that's
wow.
We have to rerun that after the show and make a little clip and then as a video, shall we?
All right.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so what I mean, I know this is your it's amazing, isn't it, how life brings us to this point where we get this opportunity to share in such a powerful way, because this is what you've been doing for so many years, and now with New Thought Media Network you can bring it here as a show to really amplify and where people can hear about their own relationship with themselves and do something about it. So I'm going to ask you, both of you, to kind of just share on that before we come to the end of the show here. What can, for anybody that's listening, viewing, whenever that this is right now, if their relationship they feel to the divine or to an aspect of their lives is just not, because there's always something, isn't there, that we can have an opportunity to grow with. What would you say to that person to rather than running from something, to actually sit in the uncomfortableness of doing that piece of work or that work that's being called? How can you guide right now that person that may just be thinking, I've just got to jack it all in?
I would say, first off, stop trying to assign blame somewhere, whether it's on the job or another person or on yourself. That the place to start is to release the blame and to really settle into what's going on here, and what allow yourself to listen for the next step, not to try to figure it out and
make it happen.
And make it happen. Yeah.
And I would say I would borrow from Byron Katie, and I would ask, is that the truth? I think a lot of times we get stuck in our story and, we think, oh, I don't have anything. I'm poor. I don't have money. I'm broke. And really stopping to be with, is that the truth? Is there more to that story? Because we can find the things you do have, find where the gratitude is, and then leap from there. Not that I'm not saying those situations aren't real, but you've got to be able to grasp on something and be grateful in order to keep moving forward, I think. So
that's both of what you've both said is just so powerful as two steps of a beginning, to put both of those into place, because when we're in that dark place, it's not always easy to see or to be grateful. And yet there's so much to be grateful for, even when we don't even believe there's anything to be grateful for. Just starting with the breath, beginning with the breath.
I think there's another thing I'm going to share. I think it's our third show. We was going to be called "Who's at the Party," and
Right.
that is that idea of who are you what relationship are you really dealing with in this moment? Where are you coming from? Robin reminds me every so often that she is not various other people in my life that I may be fearing or treating her as if that she's going to treat me in a certain way, and that's not her. That's an old story that I'm carrying, right?
Right.
So who's at your party? Who are you letting hang around you in your mind in that process?
I'm just going to read. I know we're coming to a close, but like Gil said, we were working on our elevator speech, and you said something which is so funny because it's what I wrote this morning. You said something like we felt like a gentle landing, and I wrote, or you said, yeah, that's what you said. I said, Rockin the Love is a place to go for a gentle landing and a reunion with your true self. And I said more than that, but it does feel like it's that space to uncover, rediscover, reconnect with the love, because we're either in a healing process or we're in a revealing process, letting go of old and blessing new and bringing new in or whatever. And we've got to heal in order to reveal on something.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. We've got to do that work before we can reveal. We've got to be open to being that place, that space for ourselves.
But see, that's a scary space.
Yeah, very extremely.
Because
and that's why you've given
unknown.
that's why you've given these steps, to come away from blame and to be grateful. And even just by beginning there, we can take a breath and have some time out from all of that stuff that's going on. And I really love what you said, Rev Gill, about who's at the party, and that you have an incredible relationship with yourselves individually and with each other, for Robin to be that person that can say to you, I'm not that person. I'm me. I'm me. I'm it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Not always in the moment. It's not. But.
No, but that's the work.
So, throughout this, a song has been coming into my mind, which Diego knows because he also was in the Agape choir. And I don't know if it's a Byers Beckwith. I mean, I'm sure it's Byers Beckwith, but it could be from the Bible because I'm not Bible versed. But it's, my prayer today is for courage to be what the Holy Spirit intended for me. And I was thinking, just even my prayer today is for courage to be. I mean, to really be in the love. Because it's scary.
Yeah. It's not all hearts and flowers, is it?
Yeah. And we watched a movie last night where they, it was teenagers, and they're like, love is messy. It's messy. Yeah.
And I think it's that, being in that place where we're not kind of doing that spiritual bypass on love of, it's all just love and peace, like flower power kind of 1970s. It's all love.
Yeah.
Well, it's, love shows up in infinite ways. And I see that we have that opportunity to identify that and to really do the healing work.
Yeah.
And to accept it all.
And wow. Thank God you're holding that container for us all.
Oh, well, we're all doing that work. We're all doing that beautiful work right now. It's very real. Yeah. And what a blessing that you're here. And I'm so excited for your new show. I can't wait. And I love it that you have topics lined up and shows that you know what you're doing. It's planned, pre-planned. So this is really exciting. Thank you so much for being who you are. There we go. There's your beautiful marketing post that will be going out on Facebook and everywhere. So watch out for it, everyone. Watch out for Rev Gill and Robin, who are coming onto the network and beyond the network, doing incredible work with their counseling and ministering and practitioner work and everything else that they do to inspire us to know who we are as love.
Yes.
And so New Thought Media Network, of course, is a focus ministry visioned by Reverend Robert Brzezinski, and we're here broadcasting over 20 hours of shows and conversation and inspiration every single week. And thank you, Diego, for being here and being the producer on the Cosmic Prayer also, and for putting this banner up to inspire people to be a part of the circulatory process and financially give into the network, where we know that we are always being fed and nourished. It's like a beautiful cycle of being nourished and feeding back and being nourished and feeding back. And so get on the train. Get on the train and feed into the link there. And thank you, Rev Gill and Robin, for being here on the Cosmic Prayer today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So happy to close out the year with you.
Oh, amazing. Would you like to be a part of a closing prayer here?
Sure.
Yeah?
We would, but just before we start that, I just want to say January 5th, Wednesday, 12 noon Pacific, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and I don't know what time your time, but another time. And What's Love Got to Do with It is the first show.
Fantastic.
So we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having us here. So
brilliant. We are looking forward to this also. This will be amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Let's
Perfect.
pray.
So let's pray. I'm going to invite us to close our eyes here and center in. And if you're viewing right now and you're able to, join us. Because I know that as we pray individually, together, collectively, that we are in the one as the one. So let's take a breath. And let's center in, just allowing everything that's been said and heard and spoken to be the consciousness of who we are right now. And I know that we are in this one consciousness, this one energy, this one knowing, this one presence, this one power that I know of as God, this divine inspiration, this creative illumination, this one presence that is presencing itself through everything right now. And I'm so grateful to be here and be present with this knowing, and to be present with this understanding of the omnipresence, the one, the love, the allness, the greatness that I know of as this experience of as life. So with this knowing, I'm passing this prayer on right now. Passing this prayer on to Robin.
So I'm just grateful and thankful in this moment, knowing that as this time comes to a close, as this year comes to a close, that we bless it all. That we bless it all as we move forward, knowing that truly God's got it, Spirit's got it, that there is love and peace and joy and infinite possibility and creativity revealing itself as our lives here and now, that we release and let go of anything that doesn't serve us, and we move forward and we just truly dedicate ourselves to Rockin the Love. And I pass.
And I'm just truly grateful. I just want to express gratitude for Laura and her friendship and her show and the givingness that she has to this, and her commitment to lifting up the concept of prayer in our world and having us explore it and think about it and talk about it. And I know that she is blessed and she is a blessing in all that she does. And I'm grateful for the network and them sharing with us the opportunity to show up. And I'm grateful for all the people that are supportive. And I'm most grateful in knowing all those who will join us in exploring this and who will give us the joy of giving. So I'm grateful, and I just knowing that all this is in perfect and divine order, and it is complete even before we have spoken it. And it is our opportunity to simply allow it to be. And so it is.
And so it is.
Así lo es. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rev Gil and Robin. And until next time on the Cosmic Prayer, have an amazing day. Have an incredible entry into 2022. And we'll see you in the new year.
Woohoo!
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper on the New Thought Media Network. If you've enjoyed this programming, please tell a friend and join us again next week for Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper.